Hey everybody, this is Paddy McCracken, and welcome to Real People with Real Results. I'm very excited to be hosting this event right from Albuquerque, New Mexico. Just had an incredible 2 days down here with the organization and team, and wanted to spend a few moments and interview Brandon Newton, one of our young entrepreneurs with the program, one of our Nerium Yeppers. But this young man has been impressive from day one. I've gotten a chance to work with him for just, I don't know, maybe over a year and a half now. But what we're going to do today is we're just going to go over kind of why Nerium, what he saw, what he's been able to do. And just in a short period of time, when he really committed to the process, when he had some extra time to really start going out there and building it on a part-time basis, went out there and achieved Lexus. And now is building a team right behind him, doing the exact same thing. And so, guys, I wanted to introduce you to Brandon Newton. Brandon, how's it going?
I'm doing good. How are you, buddy?
Oh, I'm doing well, man. So tell me a little bit about yourself. I mean, you have such a great story of obviously growing up here in Albuquerque, but then going to school in San Diego. So tell me about your background.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously, like you mentioned, I grew up here in Albuquerque, New Mexico, land of enchantment. It's a beautiful area. Played sports my entire life. That was kind of my why, if you will, for the entire reason that I was in school. And then once I graduated high school, I realized that I needed to get out of here for a little bit. I needed to, experience everywhere else that I hadn't ever, been, which was pretty much everywhere. So I did a lot of traveling. Whenever I was looking for schools, I applied to I think like 20 something schools because I knew that I wanted to get out of Albuquerque, and I really thought that California was where I was going to end up. So I took actually a 2-week trip out to California, and I visited, I want to say, 12 schools along the coast, something like that. And I ended up in San Diego. I fell in love with it. It's a beautiful area. There's a lot of water, which is something we didn't have here in Albuquerque. And it was something that I actually went out there to play baseball. I was asked to play for a couple different schools or football, and eventually I chose University of San Diego. And one of the hardest decisions I ever made was having then to choose my academics over sports, because it was a D1 school, great school, great team, but I wanted to study medicine eventually down the road. And so I knew that you kind of have to choose one or the other at that point. And so I chose obviously academics, which it worked out really well. I spent 4 years in beautiful San Diego, got to live on the beach. I lived on Mission Beach, which is something that not a lot of 20-year-olds get to do. So I was very, very blessed about that. Made a lot of great friends, a lot of amazing acquaintances out there, and really got to network, which was great. And then, from there, I applied to a bunch of different medical schools after, my junior year. And I think I applied to 23 or 24 schools, which was a full-time job in and of itself. And I was, again, very blessed that I was accepted at 2 of them. And, first round, that's not something a lot of people get to have. I want to say it's about a 10% acceptance rate, something like that. And so, that's kind of where I'm at now. I got accepted, and I decided to take a little bit of time. I needed, to do a couple things before I started medical school, because I know that once I finish med school, it's all go from there. There's not going to be another break for a while. So
Nice. So, I know that was one of it was kind of a huge day. That was one of your main goals, main focuses since you were, pretty young, right?
Yeah.
And so, huge accomplishment. I know your mom and grandma were incredibly proud of you. But while you're going to school, I know you were running clubs, you were running president of your fraternity, but you were approached, right, about this business. And, you had so many reasons, maybe to say I'm too busy, too much on my plate, too many other goals to achieve. But what did you see here? I know with your science background, what did you see in regards to Nerium and the systems here to go out there and build extra income on the side?
Absolutely. So, like I mentioned, right after my junior year is when I started doing all the applying. It was about the exact same time that I was actually introduced to Nerium. I had a good buddy. We had known each other for a long time. He's actually from Albuquerque. His roots were here. He was at that time living in Utah. I knew the family. They went back in the real estate world. It's a very small world in Albuquerque. And I had finished taking my MCAT for med school, and it was about 2 weeks after that I was approached. And at the time, like I said, I had just finished that, which is a giant weight off my back. And I knew that the next big thing was all of the applications, which again, full-time job. And then going into my senior year, I knew that I was going to be a part of about 13 different clubs and organizations that I had previously been a part of. 5 of those I was on the executive boards. I was the president of my medical fraternity. And at the time, I also had a job on campus. I had another job where I was actually promoting in downtown San Diego. And, whenever I was approached with Nerium, it was one of those things where I wasn't looking for anything because I already had so much going on. I've had my entire life path set out for a long time. I haven't had every single direction set, but I know the end goal, which was med school. And so at that point, everything that I was doing was directly related to getting into medical school and going through that process. So I was open enough to look at it, which I think was the biggest thing. I was very fortunate that I was open at the time. I think it was in part because I just finished my MCAT. I had a big load off my back and I was a little more open. And so, the medical background of it, at the time I was studying biology and chemistry and business. So I got degrees in all 3 of those. And so from the science background of things, I got kind of nerdy with the product, actually. They said that it started from a biotech company. And so I went and I did a bunch of research on that. And what we have is amazing. It's incredible what is in our products. It really is. So from the science background, it made 100% sense that it works. Nice. And that's it. And then from the business background, I knew that residual income is one thing that you need to have. If you want to have a fortune at some point in your life, you have to have a lot of assets, and you need those assets to work for you. And one of the ultimate ones is being able to leverage time and your networks. And this was exactly that. And so it made sense from all of those standpoints. And so for me, it was just more of a matter of, can I make the time? Can I fit this into something where it's going to still get me to my end goal, which was medical school? And I did find a way.
Yes.
I found a way to make it make sense.
Nice. So, there's so many of things that you could have said that, hey, this isn't going to work. So obviously the system came into place. And so, what I've seen you be able to accomplish just when you started putting your mind towards it, with the time that you had, you started building a local team in San Diego while you were going to college, while you were wrapping up your senior year, the time of your life, partying, having fun. You were at sometimes building a business, right? Kind of leaving the frat boys and going out there to work.
Absolutely.
And now you have what? You have a team now accelerating through Mexico, building Mexico. And you also brought this business back to your hometown. So you have an organization and team here of more young entrepreneurs, right? But where do you kind of see this going? If you broke it down into, 1 or 2 things that you've done here that you've been able to start achieving extra income, achieving the car is a bonus. What are some of those things that you could touch on?
I kind of start on the one end that you started with was the system. The system is everything. I needed something that was duplicatable because I personally didn't have the time to teach a lot of people to do what I was doing, which was, for me, being able to communicate with people and talk to people comes easily for me, which I'm, again, very blessed to have. And also understanding, because of the backgrounds that I had when I had already studied, that's why it made sense to me. But I didn't have time to teach that. It took 3 years of college education to understand the very, very, very deep level stuff, which is what attracted me to it. I needed a system that was able to, show that to people on a very, very simple basis, where I could get people to look at a video. I could get people to listen to a call. I could get people to talk to someone like you or someone like, the other support team that we had, while I was traveling, while I was in school, while I was in my 18 units, while I was finishing everything up. And so the system is literally what allowed me to achieve what I have. And where I see this going is, honestly, I don't know. It's hard to imagine, because the things that I imagined happening were a very long-term goal for me. It really was. And what I had set as my long-term goal happened very quickly, a lot more quickly than I expected. And so what I would like to say that I expect to see for a very long-term goal, I have a feeling it's going to be a short-term goal. But that includes having international business not only in the North America, but in South America, in Asia, in every continent around the world. Right. It's going to happen. And being able to be in school while that's happening is something that I'm very looking forward to, because it gives me the opportunity to network all around the world, which, again, I had mentioned that I was able to fit this into my lifelong goal, the physician part of it, which I want to do Doctors Without Borders. Doctors Without Borders and Mercy Ships is really, kind of my driver. I want to be a physician not for the money. That's not the whole point. It's to be able to help people in a facet that not many other people can. And so whenever I'm making all of these connections through Nerium, realistically, because Nerium is going to get me to those continents way before I'm able to go there as a physician, right? I'm going to already have networks in every continent. I'm going to have networks in so many different places that whenever I go there, I'm going to be able to show up knowing people, knowing groups of people that can then get me to the right areas where they need the help, where I can best serve other people. And so, I guess big picture, I see this connecting me to the world, which it sounds crazy. It sounds very, very kind of open-ended, but again, it's not that crazy. It's not.
That's beautiful, man. I get to talk to a lot of people, and just to kind of hear that forward thinking, just putting that into motion now, and seeing the foresight of even building something now part time, to while you're in school, getting paid, while you're going to school, while you're studying to be a physician, for the cause that you're looking to achieve. And so let me ask you this. I know you talk to a lot of young entrepreneurs as well. And our young entrepreneurs are from the 18 to 29-year-old age group, but I'm sure you hear a lot of things. Maybe what do I know about anti-aging or skincare? I don't have any wrinkles. I don't have a lot of time. I don't have a lot of experience. I'm short on cash. What do you say to that? I mean, you've completely proven it opposite every single time. And so, what do you say when you talk to some people that age or with that mindset?
I think what I say is something that I heard at the very beginning, because I was having a lot of the same questions. My number one, I guess, kind of reason for not doing it, because immediately whenever you are looking at any kind of opportunity, no matter what it is, you have to go through why and why not. So my biggest why not was, I'm 21 years old. Like you said, what do I know about anti-aging? I have no wrinkles. I'm not even interested in skincare. I've never had a passion towards skincare. And aside from that, you talk about experience. What experience? And what, I'm experienced in being a student. That's all I knew. And so when people come to me with those exact same hesitations, I just tell them my experience. And realistically, what that is something that I think it was either you or Silver Fisher who, they told me, you really have to think outside of you and your immediate network. The number of people who use our products, who use an anti-aging skincare product in the world is huge. It's staggering, and it's growing so quickly. It doesn't really matter if you use it or not, because the majority of the people that whether it's your friends, your family, your acquaintances, they are going to use some product. They're going to hear about it from someone somewhere. And so why should you not be the one to introduce it? And that was something that I took away at the very, very beginning. And that is honestly that was the final straw that kind of got me to jump on. And I'm so thankful for that, because now that allows me to explain that to other people. And it's just such a simple concept that, everyone's going to hear about it. Why shouldn't you tell them? You don't have to be a skincare expert. You don't have to be, skincare doesn't have to be what your life is all about. You can have other dreams. You can have other desires. You can have other passions. This is another vehicle to get you where you want to go.
That's huge, man. And, kind of as we're wrapping up here, I mean, at least for this first segment, I mean, I know we're going to do some really cool things this year. You have a great team. I mean, again, how you even started your organization that is now building into Mexico and all that experience. But, kind of with what you see here, again, you have a lot of people right now that are doing well, that are excelling, that got paid and promoted. I mean, I know you ran a few promotions, and we're about to go out and celebrate with those earners. But for the person out there that you're looking to work with, who are you looking to work with? I know you're busy. Obviously you're about to go back into school.
Right.
You're obviously building this business on the side. You're in real estate as well. Who are you looking to work with? Like, who would you want to be like, man, give me a call right now? Who are you looking to work with?
The number one, type of person I'm looking for is a self-motivated person.
Okay.
100% realistically, because like you said, I'm building this over the, I mentioned that I had taken a year off from medical school. It did give me a little bit of time to relax. I still do all kinds of stuff. I have to stay busy, but I've been working Nerium full time. And so I am about 6 months into my year off. So I have about 6 months left before I start med school. And I have some very, very big goals that I'm looking to achieve by then, which means that I'm still looking for a few more key people on my team that want to run. And so who those key people are going to be is they're the ones who are open enough to look at it. They're excited. They're curious. And they're the self-motivated person. They're the person that I'm not going to have to call every morning to wake them up. I'm not going to have to say, are you ready to do this? Are you excited? I'm looking for someone who's going to call me and say, I'm excited. This is what I'm going to do today. Can you help me? I'm 100% willing to take a step for anyone on my entire team who's willing to take a step for themselves. Even as somebody that's just getting started, I'm willing to take 5 steps for every step that they're willing to take if they're excited and they're passionate about it. So I guess to answer your question more simply, I'm looking for somebody who is excited and driven. And I will, I'm ready to partner up with a few more. I have some amazing leaders on my team. Very, very fortunate. All over the country, south border, north border, everywhere. But there's definitely a few more places open for those individuals.
Huge, awesome. So as we kind of close out here, in the experience that you've had with us in a short period of time, but really getting out there and starting the process, building some leadership in your group, what's one thing that you could give someone that's looking for a nugget, that's looking for a tip? What's one thing that you've learned just in this process that's allowed you to dream bigger? It's allowed you to take that into action?
Yeah, one thing. It's hard. I learned a lot, especially coming out of a training today. I'd have to say one thing is keeping it simple. Keeping it simple and trusting the system. That was something that I had a hard time with at the very, very beginning, was trusting the system, because I thought that I knew so much because I had gone to school and I had learned about everything that I had mentioned earlier. And it took me a little while to realize that you don't need to know that much to be successful in this company. You don't need to know that much. You need to be excited. You need to have passion, and like I said, the passion, the desire, and a little bit of knowledge that can get you into doors, and then let your excitement and the system work together to get you where you want to go. So if I'm going to give any kind of advice to anyone, I'm going to say trust the system, lean on it 100%, because it's right every time. Every time. It comes from corporate. They write it,
Right.
They make the DVDs and everything that we use. It's better to hear it from the system and from corporate and people like Jeff and Mark and all those guys who are putting it together than it is from me any day. And it also saves time, which if you're trying to build something really big, really quick, you need to use something that is going to save your time. So.
Nice. Awesome. Well, thank you for your time today. Ladies and gentlemen, this was just our first part, in this Young Entrepreneur series of Real People and Real Results. And again, you heard it right here. Someone that was driven for sure. And obviously you saw that on this interview today. Absolutely driven, but had a lot of reasons why. Why to get started. Also had a lot of reasons that could have stopped him from getting started, but went out there and just built it. Went out there and said, let's do this. And now some great things are happening. And so as we go forward, this is just kind of us signing out from Albuquerque, New Mexico. So take care, live happy, and we'll see you on the next episode. So take care, guys.
You guys have a good night.
Bye-bye. All right.